So today we are going to begin with the lesson number 11 of your class 8 English, that is everything for the best. So let's begin with this. Ancient times there was rich and powerful king. Ancient time में कौन था? पुराने जमाने में एक rich और powerful king था, राजा था, who ruled over a vast kingdom, जो एक बहुत बड़े kingdom पे राज करता था. प्रताप सिंह was his advisor. प्रताप सिंह कौन था? उनका advisor था, as well as a close friend, और एक close friend भी था advisor के साथ साथ. Caravan loads brought daily wealth into his capital and his kingdom, as well as administered by his minister under the guidance of Pratap Singh. So caravan आती थी, loads होके brought, जो उसमें जो daily wealth आती थी उनमें load होके उसकी capital में, उसकी kingdom में, और as well as कौन administer करता था? उनके ministers. किसकी guidance के अंदर? प्रताप सिंह की. The only irritation the king sometimes suffered was to see the ills of famine. तो क्या देखते थे? इल्स देखते थे, famine के, इरिटेट हो जाते थे वो, epidemics and wars which man seemed unable to avoid, जो man avoid नहीं कर पाता था देख के. He could not reconcile this with Pratap Singh often repeated belief that everything is for the best. वो हर बार ये रिपीट करते थे कि हर चीज अच्छे के लिए होती है. When challenged, the minister would reply that such burdens ennoble man's nature and teach him wisdom, so bringing mankind slowly towards perfection. So क्या होता था? He could not reconcile this Pratap Singh. वो प्रताप सिंह से reconcile नहीं कर पाते थे, कि वो हमेशा कहते थे, believe करता था हर चीज अच्छे के लिए होती है. So when challenge the minister, challenge करते थे ministers को, would reply such burdens ennoble. Ennoble means make noble. ये जो burdens है सब noble है. So and nobles man nature, ये man का nature है, and teach him wisdom, और उनको wisdom सिखाते थे. So bringing mankind life slowly towards perfection. Now the man was optimistic to the core. No hardship in life has any discouraging effect on him, because he would always look at the positive side of the worst adversity. So optimistic means hopeful, believing that good things will happen. So the man was optimistic, वो सोचते थे कि कोई चीज अच्छी होने वाली है, and to the core, and no hardship, कोई hardship नहीं रहेगी लाइफ में. With life had any discouraging effect, कोई discouraging effects होते हैं उन पे, because he would always look at the positive side, क्योंकि वो हमेशा positive चीज में देखते थे, मतलब कुछ गलत में भी positive सोचते थे. Of the worst adversity, adversity means difficulty or pleasant situation. He would think of the benefits that could be derived from adversities. वो मतलब ये देखते थे कि difficult situation से भी क्या अच्छी चीज हो सकती है, benefits देखते थे. In fact, this particular trait was so prominent in life that others around him very often got tired. जो उनके आसपास के लोग थे वो थक जाते थे of his often repeated belief कि हर चीज होती है अच्छे के लिए होती है. One day, the king and Pratap Singh went out riding on a hunting expedition to a dense forest. वो कहाँ गए? एक दिन वो जर्नी पे चले गए, मतलब एक्सपीडिशन में, जर्नी टू फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर पर्पस. एक डेंस फॉरेस्ट में, एक घने जंगल में चले गए हंटिंग करने के लिए, शिकार करने के लिए प्रताप सिंह के साथ. दे परस्यूड अ डियर इन द फॉरेस्ट. उन्होंने एक डियर को फॉलो करा फॉरेस्ट में, एंड वाज सून लॉस्ट डीप इन द जंगल, और जंगल में खो गए. Feeling thirsty and hungry, वो thirsty थे और hungry थे. They began to look for water को ढूंढने लगे. At length they discovered a solitary wood apple. उन्हें क्या मिला? एक solitary wood apple मिला. When the king tried to cut the apple, जैसे king ने try करा उस apple को cut करने का, as luck would have it, the sword slipped. एकदम से sword जो थी slip हो गई for his hand, and he cut off his finger, और उन्होंने अपनी finger काट ली. The king left out a piercing cry of pain. King ने एकदम दर्द बना आवाज निकाली. He was aghast when he saw the bleeding finger. वो एकदम कुछ शॉक हो गया जब उन्होंने अपनी फिंगर को ब्लीड होते हुए देखा. The minister who came running after asked the king. एकदम मिनिस्टर जो भागता हुआ आया किंग से पूछा, What's the matter, your majesty? कि क्या हुआ majesty? The king pointed to a severed finger and sword that lay on the ground. किंग ने पॉइंट आउट करा उस फिंगर की तरफ, जो स्वॉर्ड की तरफ, जो ग्राउंड पे गिरी हुई थी. Picking up the sword, the advisor in his characteristic way was about to say his favorite statement. So वो जो मतलब पिकअप करते हुए एडवाइजर ने वो अपना एक फेवरेट स्टेटमेंट बोला. So everything is for the best, isn't it? क्या हर चीज अच्छे के लिए नहीं होती? क्या ये सच नहीं है? asked the king ironically. King से ironically पूछा. The advisor was as calm as ever. Advisor हमेशा की तरह शांत ही था. With due respect he answered, yes your majesty, it may be a blessing in disguise. फिर उसने due respect से आंसर किया, yes your majesty, blessing है disguise में. Take it from me, something good is going to come out of this apparent tragic मतलब कोई चीज अच्छी होने वाली है इस ट्रेजिक से इंसिडेंट से. God had willed it this way. God ने इस तरीके से होना चाहा होगा. So we should not complain. इसलिए हमें complain नहीं करनी चाहिए. The king could not believe what his advisor had said. King को believe नहीं हो कि उसके advisor ने क्या बोला. He could not comprehend how the loss of his finger could be a blessing. उसको नहीं समझ आ रहा था कि उसकी finger का loss कैसे एक blessing हो सकती है. The distraught King was sure his courtier was making fun of his. उसको समझ आया कि जो उनका courtier है उनका मजाक उड़ा रहा है. In his fury, the king ordered प्रताप सिंह out of his sight. King ने ऑर्डर करा कि मेरी नजरों से दूर चले जाओ. So seeing that he had indeed enraged the king, Pratap Singh had no choice but leaving the king alone. उसको कोई choice ही नहीं थी, king को उसे अकेला छोड़ना पड़ा. In his hunger and pain, the king fell into an uneasy sleep. King अपनी एक uneasy sleep में सो गए अपने pain में. As he lay at the foot of a tree, foot of a tree में बैठे थे, he was discovered by the tribesmen of the jungle. Tribesmen of the jungle ने उन्हें ढूंढा, who is in the last day of their great and annual festival were seeking a sacrificial victim for the tiger goddess. वो उन्हें कौन ले गया? जो एक sacrificial victim चाहिए था उन्हें tiger goddess के लिए. They were delighted to find such a handsome victim. वो खुश हो गए कि such handsome victim देख के. They seized the king, bound his hand and feet and carried him away. तो उन्होंने किंग के हाथ पैर बांधे और उन्हें अपने साथ ले गए. The warriors were in their colorful costumes. Warriors किसमें थे? Colorful costume में थे, with plumes and holding the spears upright in reverence to their royal prisoner. मतलब plumes का large feather uses ornaments की तरह जो large feather use होते हैं usually worn in hair. So and holding the spears upright, अपना spears को एकदम सीधा पकड़ के reverence to his royal prisoner, they marched their chiefs to their chief palace on stilts. वो अपने chief palace के पास ले गए उन्हें stilts पे. Stilts a set of poles supporting a hut or a house above the ground. So the tribal soldiers presented the booty to the chief. उन्होंने present करा booty किसको? मतलब valuable thing को chief को दिखाया. जो king थे उन्हें valuable thing को chief को दिखाया. And judged that the prisoner was indeed of royal blood. उन्होंने पता कि royal blood से है कोई. He was pleased with his minions prize catch. मतलब वो खुश हो गए अपने minions के servants के prize catch से. He decided that blue blood would be an excellent. वो उन्होंने सोचा कि royal blood, blue blood एक अच्छी चीज होगी offering एक supreme deity के लिए. Therefore he sent for the tribal priest and old man who came in soon afterward. उन्होंने एक tribal priest को भेजा. एक old man था जो who came in soon afterward. तो थोड़ी बार जल्दी से आ गया. As was the custom, the tribal priest had to approve of all offerings to the deity. Tribal priest को approve करनी पड़ी सारी deity offerings deity के लिए. It was his duty to see that each offering was perfect. उसकी duty थी कि देखने के लिए हर offering एक perfect होनी चाहिए हर तरीके से. Seeing that the king was going to be the object of sacrifice on that day, उन्होंने देखा कि king object होने वाला sacrifice का उस दिन. The priest did not inspect the prisoners from head to toe. Priest ने observe ही नहीं करा, inspect ही नहीं करा head से toe तक उनको. Instead, he ordered that the process to be started. उन्होंने order कर दिया कि process को start कर दो without delay. They took the king to their altar. उन्होंने king को altar के पास ले गए. After some wild dancing, कुछ wild dancing के बाद, the final sacrificial preparations began with the smearing of. Final चीजें start हो गई. किसकी smearing के साथ? Red and yellow powder over the victim. Red और yellow powder लगा दिया victim के ऊपर. Forehead पे, feet पे and hands पे. However, it was during the anointing of the body that the old priest noticed that something was amiss. So, old priest ने देखा कि कोई चीज तो गायब है. One of the fingers on the king's left hand was missing. एक finger king के left hand से missing है. He shook his head and said in the sonorous voice. उन्होंने अपना head shook करा और sonorous voice में बोला, I am sorry, your royal highness. We cannot proceed with the sacrifice. I am sorry, हम इस sacrifice से आगे proceed नहीं कर सकते. The deity will accept only those who are whole body. deity उनको एक्सेप्ट करेंगे जिनकी body should not have any blemish. body में कोई blemishes भी नहीं होनी चाहिए. The prisoner's body is imperfect and it is not fit for offering to the deity. prisoner की body भी imperfect है और ये मतलब सही नहीं है, fit नहीं है offering करने के लिए deity को. The tribesmen fled in horror. सब tribesmen डर के माहौल में आ गए और for they had merely presented an imperfect sacrifice. उन्होंने imperfect sacrifice present कर दिया and feared the wrath of the goddess. और goddess की डर से wrath से वो डर गए. As the king moved away as fast as his legs could carry him, he realized that the lot of his finger has indeed been for the best. तो जैसे उनके किंग को एकदम समझ आया कि जो उनकी लॉस हुई है फिंगर उनके अच्छे के लिए हुई है. But what of not having his ministers company at the time of danger, was that for the best? क्या ये भी सही के लिए हुआ है? Yes, said प्रताप सिंह. later प्रताप सिंह ने बोला हाँ ये सही था. For if he had known of the king's peril, he would have come to the king's aid and he been overcome by the numerous tribesmen. अगर वो किंग के साथ रहता तो न्यूमरस ट्राइबमैन उसे भी ले जाते किंग की जगह. द सर्विंग एज अ सब्स्टिट्यूट विक्टिम. एक सब्स्टिट्यूट विक्टिम की जगह किंग की जगह हम इसको ऑफर कर देते हैं. सो एवरीथिंग वाज फॉर द बेस्ट आफ्टर ऑल. तो हर चीज एक अच्छे के लिए हुई है आफ्टर ऑल. सो नाउ लेट्स सॉल्व द एक्सरसाइजेस ऑफ दिस लेसन. Pratap Singh was the dash of the king advisor. Dash cut off his finger. King, who used to say everything is for the best. Pratap Singh. The king ordered Pratap Singh out of his side. Dash was an imperfect sacrifice for the tribesman. King was an imperfect sacrifice for the tribesman. Now answer the following questions. How did Pratap Singh explain the ills of famine, epidemic and war? Now answer the following questions. So first one, how did the Pratap Singh explains the ills of famine, epidemic and wars? Pratap Singh, the minister, would reply that such burdens enables the man to such burdens enables the man to nature and teach him the, what does he teach him? The wisdom. He teaches the wisdom, the bringing the mankind slowly towards perfection. So he believed that everything happens for the best. So one mishap occurred when the king was on his hunting expedition. When the king was on his hunting expedition, the king was cutting the apple, but suddenly his sword slipped and his finger was cut off. Why was the king angry with the advisor? The king was angry with the advisor. The king shows his finger to the advisor and he said everything happens for the best, isn't it? So the king feel insensitive. The king feel that the Pratap is insensitive. So he said to leave him away from his side. So who made the king a prisoner? The tribesman made the king the prisoner because he wanted to offer them to their goddess. Why did the tribal chief send for the priest? The tribal chief sent for the priest to look at the offering that the tribesman had taken for the goddess. Why did the priest reject the prisoner as an offering to their deity? The priest reject the prisoner as an offering to their deity because the king has cut down his finger and the deity wants everything perfect that has been offered to her. Now, how was the advisor's misfortune proved to be his luck? The advisor's misfortune proved that because of his cutted finger, the king was not offered and his life was saved from offering to the goddess. So that's all for this lesson. I hope you all like the explanation of this lesson. Thank you and have a great day.